Commander Veltar pressed his clawed hands against the armrests of his command chair as another explosion shook his ship. The metal walls groaned around him. Red warning lights flashed across the bridge like angry eyes. "Sir, we lost the Stormwind." His communications officer shouted over the noise. The young Corvani's blue-scaled face was pale with fear. "That makes 4 ships down." Veltar closed his eyes for a moment. 4 ships destroyed in less than 10 minutes. His small patrol fleet had walked straight into a hegemony trap. What should have been a simple border check had become a massacre. The bridge shook again. Sparks flew from a control panel near the back wall. One of his crew members ran to fix it, but Veltar could see the hopelessness in everyone's movements. They all knew this was the end. "How many enemy ships?" he asked, though he already knew the answer would be bad. 30 destroyers, sir. Maybe more coming." The tactical officer's voice cracked. "They have us completely surrounded. It's 30 ships against 1. Veltar had been fighting the hegemony for 15 years, but he had never seen odds this terrible. The enemy had planned this perfectly. They knew exactly when and where his patrol would be. Someone had betrayed them. "Shields?" asked. "Down to 8%, sir. We took a direct hit to the main generator. Weapons. Main guns are offline. We have maybe 2 torpedo tubes still working." Veltar looked around his bridge. 23 crew members, all looking at him for answers he did not have. Some were barely adults, fresh out of the academy. Others had families waiting at home. All of them trusted him to keep them alive, but there was no way out. The hegemony ships moved closer, forming a perfect circle around his damaged vessel. There. Black holes looked like hungry beasts in the darkness of space. Red lights blinked along their weapon arrays, ready to finish what they had started. "Sir," the communications officer said quietly, "should I send the evacuation order?" Veltar stared at the main screen. The hegemony commander would probably let his crew escape in the life pods. The enemy was cruel, but they usually followed the old war codes about survivors. His people might live, even if his ship died. "Prepare the pods," he said finally. "Get everyone ready too, sir. Something's happening." The tactical officer's voice made everyone look up. On the main screen, space itself seemed to be tearing open. Bright light appeared, growing larger and larger. The stars twisted around it like water going down a drain. "What is that?" Someone whispered. The light exploded outward, and suddenly a ship appeared where nothing had been before. But this was not like any ship Veltar had ever seen. It was smaller than his own vessel, smooth and white like polished bone. Strange symbols marked its hull. No sharp edges or heavy armor like Corvani or hegemony ships. This one looked almost ... peaceful. "Unknown vessel," Veltar breathed. "Where did it come from?" The communications officer was working frantically at his station. "Sir, I'm not reading any of our ship types. This isn't Corvani or hegemony design. The engine signature is completely different." The new ship had appeared directly between Veltar's damaged vessel and the hegemony fleet. Not beside them or behind them, but right in the middle of the battle zone. It was like someone had jumped into the middle of a fight between 2 angry beasts. The hegemony ships had stopped firing. Veltar could imagine their confusion. After all, what kind of fool would fly a single small ship into the middle of 30 warships? "Are they crazy?" his tactical officer asked. "That ship is tiny compared to the hegemony destroyers." Veltar studied the unknown vessel on his screen. It was beautiful in a strange way, but it looked helpless. No visible weapons, no heavy shields that he could detect. Whatever these people were, they had just signed their own death warrant. "Try to contact them," he ordered. "Warn them to get out of here before the hegemony decides to shoot." "I'm trying, sir, but they're not responding to any of our frequencies." The bridge fell silent, except for the hum of failing systems. Everyone watched the main screen, waiting to see what would happen next. The hegemony ships were moving, adjusting their positions. Some turned their weapons toward the new arrival. Veltar felt a strange mixture of hope and dread. Hope because, maybe, somehow this unknown ship represented help. Dread because he was about to watch more innocent people die. "Sir," the communications officer said suddenly, "I'm picking up a transmission. Not from us, or the hegemony. It's from the unknown ship. Put it through. The bridge speakers crackled with static. Then, clear as starlight, came a voice unlike any Veltar had ever heard, soft but strong, calm but determined, speaking in perfect Corvani, but with an accent that seemed to come from nowhere in the known galaxy. This is Captain Kim of the Earthship Harmony. All vessels will cease fire immediately and withdraw to safe distance. The voice paused, and in that silence, Veltar felt something he had not felt in years. Hope. Captain Kim Jae-ho stood on the bridge of the Harmony, watching the tactical display with calm eyes. 30 large warships surrounded one damaged vessel. The math was simple and terrible. "Sir," said Lieutenant Park Biora from the communications station, "we're receiving responses to your message." The bridge speakers filled with angry voices. Some spoke in harsh, growling languages Kim had never heard before. Others used the same musical language as the damaged ship. All of them sounded confused and angry. "They want to know who we are," Biora translated. "The big ships are demanding we identify ourselves and leave immediately." Kim nodded slowly. 3 years of deep space exploration and humanity's first contact with alien life had to be in the middle of a war. The mission planners back on Earth had prepared for many scenarios, but not this one. "Sir," called out Ensign Lee Hajin from the pilot station, "the large ships are moving. They're trying to surround us too." Kim could see it on the tactical display. The enemy ships were spreading out, forming a bigger circle that would trap both his ship and the damaged alien vessel. Smart tactics, but it told him something important. These aliens thought like humans did. They understood strategy and coordination. "Okay," said Chief Engineer Choi Minho over the intercom. "I'm reading massive energy signatures from those ships. Their weapons are much larger than ours." Kim almost smiled. Of course they were. The Harmony was an exploration vessel, not a warship. It carried enough firepower to defend itself from pirates or asteroids, but not to fight 30 military ships. But the aliens did not know that. "Bora, are you getting anything from the damaged ship?" Kim asked. "Yes, sir. They're trying to warn us. The commander is telling us to run before the big ships attack." Kim felt a warm feeling in his chest. Even while facing death, these aliens were trying to save strangers. That said something good about their character. "Open a channel to all ships," Kim ordered. "All frequencies." "Channel open, sir." Kim took a deep breath. First contact protocols said, to be cautious, to gather information, to avoid conflicts. But those protocols were written by people who had never seen 30 warships about to destroy a helpless crew. "This is Captain Kim Jae-ho of the United Earthship Harmony," he said clearly. "I represent the human race. We are new to this region of space, but we understand what we see here. One ship surrounded and outgunned. Many ships preparing to destroy it." The alien voices on the speakers grew louder and more angry. Kim could hear weapons charging, engines powering up. "I don't know your politics," Kim continued, his voice never changing tone. "I don't know your history or your reasons for fighting. But I know this. We will not stand by and watch a massacre." "Sir," Biora whispered, "they're demanding we leave. The big ships are saying this is not our concern." Kim looked at his crew. 45 people, all looking at him with trust and fear. They had signed up for exploration, not war. But they were here now, and they were human. "Hajin," Kim said quietly, "give me a full tactical display of the enemy ships. Weaknesses, blind spots, anything useful." "Sir," she replied, fingers flying. Over her controls, they're using standard formation tactics. Overlapping fields of fire, but they're not expecting resistance from us. They have gaps in their sensor coverage. Engineer Choi's voice came over the intercom again. "Captain, I've been scanning their technology. It's advanced, but not as advanced as ours. Their engines are older designs. Their weapons are powerful, but slow to target." Kim nodded. Humanity had spent 3 years in deep space learning and adapting. Human technology was still young, but it was different from anything these aliens had seen. "Biora, translate this message into both alien languages," Kim ordered. "Unknown warships. You have 10 seconds to power down your weapons and withdraw. This is your only warning." The response was immediate. Laughter came through the speakers. Harsh, mocking sounds from the larger ships. The damaged ship's crew tried to warn him again, their voices desperate. Sir Hyjin said, "The big ships are moving into attack formation. They're not taking us seriously." Kim almost smiled again. That was their first mistake. "All hands, battle stations," he announced shipwide. "This is not a drill. You're about to show these aliens what humans do when someone needs help." Warning lights flashed red throughout the ship. His crew moved with practiced efficiency, preparing for combat they had trained for but never expected to face. "Sir," Biora said, "the damaged ship is trying to coordinate with us. Their commander wants to know our capabilities." "Tell him to target whatever we tell him to target," Kim replied, "and tell him that no matter what happens, we're not leaving him behind." The alien commander's response came back quickly, translated by Biora. "He says we're either very brave or very stupid." Kim watched the tactical display as enemy ships finished their attack formation. 32-1 odds. No backup, no way home if they lost. "Tell him," Kim said calmly, "that with humans, those two things are usually the same." The first enemy ship opened fire, and Captain Kim Jae-ho showed the galaxy what humans meant when they said no one fights alone. The first enemy plasma bolt streaked through space, where the Harmony had been just a second before. But the small human ship was no longer there. Commander Veltar watched in amazement as the white vessel twisted through space like a dancer. It moved in ways that should have been impossible. The human ship spun, rolled, and dove between enemy fire as if gravity meant nothing to it. "How are they doing that?" his tactical officer whispered. Veltar had no answer. Space combat. He had never seen anything like it.
The Harmony moved like it was alive."
Responding to threats before the enemy weapons even fired, a plasma beam lanced out from one of the hegemony destroyers. The human ship simply slipped sideways, letting the deadly energy pass harmlessly by. Then it struck back, but not the way Veltar expected. Instead of trying to destroy the enemy ship, the Harmony fired precise shots at the destroyer's weapon systems. Small, focused beams that cut through armor like a surgeon's knife. Within seconds, the hegemony ship's main guns went silent. "Corvanie vessel," Captain Kim's voice came through the speakers. Calm and clear, despite the chaos around them. "Target the second ship from your left. Hit their engine ports." Now Veltar found himself following the order without thinking. Something about the human captain's tone made him trust instantly. His remaining weapons locked onto the target and fired. The combined attack worked perfectly. The hegemony destroyer's engines exploded in bright flowers of flame. The ship spun helplessly. "No longer able to maneuver?" "Excellent shot," Kim's voice said. "Next target, the flagship. Concentrate fire on their communications array." Veltar watched the tactical display in wonder. The human captain was not just fighting, he was conducting a battle like a musician conducts an orchestra. Every move had purpose. Every attack was perfectly timed. The Harmony danced between three enemy ships, its weapons firing in short, precise bursts. Not trying to kill, but to disable. Engine here, weapon system there, communications array on another ship. Within minutes, half the hegemony fleet was crippled but still alive. Sir Veltar's communications officer called out the human captain. "Is broadcasting on all frequencies." He's talking to individual enemy ships by name. "By name?" Veltar asked. "How does he know their names?" On the speakers, Kim's voice continued its steady stream of instructions. But now Veltar realized the human was speaking to everyone, friend and enemy alike. "Hegemony vessel Darkstar. Your port shields are failing," Kim said calmly. "Recommend you withdraw at a safe distance before they collapse completely. Shadowblade, your weapon overload is causing dangerous energy buildup. Shut down your main guns before they explode and kill your crew. Nighthunter, your captain's life signs are showing severe stress. Get him medical attention immediately." Veltar stared at the speakers. The human captain was helping his enemies. While fighting them, he was also trying to save their lives. How does he know all this? Veltar asked his crew. How does he know their ship names, their crew conditions, their technical problems? His science officer looked up from her station. With wide eyes, "Sir, I think their sensors are far more advanced than ours. They're reading everything: ship names, crew vital signs, system status. All of it." The battle continued, but it was unlike any battle Veltar had ever seen. The Harmony moved like liquid light, striking fast and precise, always targeting systems instead of crew compartments. Captain Kim's voice never stopped, coordinating attacks, warning enemies of dangers, keeping track of everyone's condition. Corvani Commander, Kim's voice addressed Veltar directly. "Your life support is failing in Section 7. Evacuate that area and seal the bulkheads." Veltar quickly gave the orders. How had the human known? His own sensors had not detected the problem yet. Two more hegemony ships tried to ram the Harmony. The human ship simply wasn't there when they arrived. It appeared above them, disabled their engines with 2 quick shots, then moved on to the next threat. "This is impossible," Veltar's tactical officer said. "One small ship cannot fight 30 destroyers." But the Harmony was doing exactly that. Not by being stronger or having bigger weapons, but by being smarter, faster, and somehow caring about everyone's survival, even the enemy. Hegemony Fleet Commander, Kim's voice cut through the battle noise. "Your flagship's main reactor is showing instability. If you don't shut it down in the next 2 minutes, it will explode and take 3 of your nearby ships with it." There was silence on the communications channels. Then a deep, growling voice responded in the hegemony language. "The enemy commander is asking why you're helping them," Veltar's translator said. Kim's response was immediate and simple. "Because no one deserves to die from a reactor explosion. Not even people shooting at me." More hegemony ships began powering down their weapons, not surrendering, but withdrawing from combat. They were confused, frightened, and amazed by this small ship that could destroy them all, but chose instead to save their lives. The battle was ending. But not through victory or defeat. It was ending through something Veltar had never seen before in war: mercy shown by someone strong enough to choose it. The battle was almost over, but Captain Kim's voice never stopped talking. Commander Veltar listened in amazement as the human captain spoke to enemy ships like he was talking to old friends. "Commander the Senal of the Darkspear," Kim's voice reached across space. Somehow knowing the enemy captain's personal name, "Your ventral shields are down to 3%. Your crew compartment is taking damage. Pull back now." The communications channels fell silent for a moment. Then a surprised voice answered in the harsh hegemony language. "The enemy commander is asking how you know his name," Veltar's translator said quietly. Kim's response was gentle but firm. "Because I make it my business to know who I'm fighting." "You have 67 crew members aboard your ship, Commander Thexanel. 43 of them have families waiting at home. None of them need to die today." Veltar felt a chill run down his spine. The human captain wasn't just reading ship data, he was reading personal information about individual crew members. How was that possible? Another hegemony commander tried to continue the attack, but Kim's voice cut through his orders. "Captain Mordock of the Iron Fist, your chief engineer is badly wounded. His readings show internal bleeding. He needs medical attention in the next 10 minutes, or he will die." The attack stopped. Veltar could hear confused voices on the enemy channels. The hegemony captains were talking to each other, trying to understand what was happening. Sir Veltar's communications officer said, "The human ship is broadcasting medical data about enemy crew members. They know who's injured, who's sick, even who's afraid." Kim's voice continued, now speaking to a different ship. "Commander Valenix of the Stormcaller, your weapons officer is having a panic attack. His heart rate is dangerous. Get him to medical bay and have your backup officer take his station." Veltar watched his tactical display as more hegemony ships began pulling back. It's not because they were defeated, but because they were confused and frightened. This human captain was showing them that he knew everything about them, their names, their crew, their personal problems. But instead of using this knowledge to hurt them, he was using it to help. How is he doing this? Veltar asked his science officer. "Sir, I think their sensors can read biological data through ship hulls. They're scanning every person on every ship. Heart rates, brain activity, stress levels, injuries, everything. The thought was terrifying. If the humans could read their minds and bodies from space, what else could they do? Kim's voice spoke again, this time addressing the entire hegemony fleet. All ships, this is Captain Kim. I know you came here to destroy the Corvani patrol. I know you have orders to leave no survivors. But I also know that most of you are good people following bad orders. Silence fell over the communications channels. Even Veltar's own crew stopped talking to listen. Commander Yarthok of the Blood Moon, Kim continued, you have 3 children at home, ages 6, 9, and 12. You're fighting this war because you want to make the galaxy safe for them. A shocked voice responded in hegemony language. The translator said, he's asking how you know about his children. Because I'm a father too, Kim replied simply. And Captain Zexlary of the Nightblade, you lost your brother in the last battle with the Corvani. You're here for revenge, not duty. Another stunned silence. Then a female voice spoke in broken Corvani. How do you know these things? Kim's voice became softer, more gentle. Because pain shows in your body chemistry. Grief changes your heart rate. Love for your family affects your brain patterns. I can read all of it. Every person on every ship. Your fears, your hopes, your reasons for fighting. Veltar realized he was holding his breath. This was beyond anything he had imagined. The humans weren't just technologically advanced, they could read souls. But here's what I also see, Kim continued. None of you want to be here. None of you enjoy killing. You're all afraid, tired, and homesick. You're fighting because your leaders told you to, not because you hate each other. One by one, hegemony ships began powering down their weapons. The captains were talking to each other on their private channels, but Veltar could guess what they were saying. How do you fight someone who knows your children's names? Commander Veltar. Kim's voice addressed him directly. Your life support systems are failing. I'm sending shuttles to help evacuate your crew. You don't need to do that, Veltar replied. We are not your people. Today everyone is my people, Kim said firmly. Lieutenant Lee, take Shuttle Bay 2. Chief Choi, prepare medical supplies for both Corvani and hegemony wounded. Veltar watched in amazement as small human shuttles launched from the Harmony. They approached both his damaged ship and the disabled hegemony vessels. The human crew was actually helping their enemies. Captain Kim, came a voice from the hegemony flagship. This is Admiral Korthik. I do not understand. You could destroy us all. Why do you help us? Kim's answer was simple and changed everything. Because that's what humans do. We help. Even when it's hard, even when it's dangerous, even when. The people we're helping were trying to kill us 5 minutes ago. The war was ending, not with victory, but with understanding. 3 hours after the battle ended, Commander Veltar stood on the bridge of the human ship Harmony. The place was smaller than he expected, but everything was clean and bright. The humans moved around him with quiet efficiency, helping wounded from both sides. Captain Kim Jae-ho was shorter than Veltar had imagined. The human looked fragile compared to Corvani or hegemony warriors, but his eyes held the same steady strength that Veltar had heard in his voice during the battle. Your medical officer is very skilled, Veltar said. Watching through the viewport, as human shuttles moved between the damaged ships, she saved 3 of my crew members. Kim nodded toward a young human woman working at a medical station. Song De-jin is the best doctor I know. She treats everyone the same, whether they're human, Corvani, or hegemony. Even enemies. We don't see enemies, Kim replied simply. We see people who need help. Veltar watched the rescue operations on the main screen. Human crews worked alongside Corvani and hegemony soldiers, sharing tools and medical supplies. A few hours ago, these same people had been trying to kill each other. I don't understand, Veltar said finally. Your technology is far beyond ours. Your ship is faster, your weapons more precise, your sensors can read our thoughts. You could have conquered this entire sector in days. Why didn't you? Kim was quiet for a moment, watching his crew work. Tell me, Commander, why were you and the hegemony fighting? Territory, Veltar answered. Resources, old grudges, the usual reasons. And how long has this war been going on? 15 years? Maybe 20. I was young when it started. Kim turned to face him. 20 years of fighting over territory and resources. How many people have died? Veltar thought about all the battles, all the ships lost, all the friends who never came home. Millions, on both sides. And what have you gained? The question hit Veltar like a physical blow. What had they gained? The border was in the same place it had been 20 years ago. Both sides were weaker, poorer, more afraid. Nothing had been won. Nothing, he admitted quietly. Kim nodded. That's why we don't conquer. Conquest doesn't solve problems, just creates bigger ones. Lieutenant Park Biora approached them with a data pad. Captain, we're receiving messages from across the sector. News of the battle is spreading fast. What kind of messages? Kim asked. From both Corvani and Hegemony worlds? They want to know about the humans. Some are scared, some are curious. But sir, double quotes, she paused, looking uncertain. What is it, Bor? Some of the messages are from families. Crew members from the ships here have been contacting home. They're telling their families what happened, how you helped everyone, even enemies. Veltar felt something strange in his chest. My crew contacted home? Yes, sir, Bora said. Your communications officer sent a message to his wife. He told her about how Captain Kim saved his life, and how humans shared their food with Corvani. Prisoners. Kim smiled. Good. The truth should spread faster than fear. Engineer Choi Minho's voice came over the intercom. Captain, the Hegemony flagship is requesting permission to dock. Admiral Korthik wants to speak with you personally. Grant permission, Kim replied. Then he turned to Veltar. Would you like to meet him? You two have been fighting each other? For years, maybe it's time you actually talked. Veltar felt nervous. Admiral Korthik was legendary among the Hegemony forces, a brilliant tactician and a fierce warrior. They had never met face to face, only exchanged weapons fire across the void of space. Aye, yes, Veltar said. 20 minutes later, Admiral Korthik entered the Harmony's conference room. He was tall and broad, with the gray skin and red eyes of the Hegemony species. Scars covered his arms and face, marks of many battles. He looked at Veltar with surprise. So you are the Corvani commander I have been fighting all these years. And you are the Hegemony admiral who destroyed my first ship, Veltar replied. They stared at each other across the table. 20 years of war, thousands of deaths, endless hatred, all because they had never spoken. Captain Kim sat between them. Admiral Korthik, Commander Veltar, I have a question for both of you. Do you remember why this war started? Both commanders looked confused. Veltar tried to remember, but the years of fighting had blurred together. A border dispute, I think. Or maybe resource rights. A trade agreement gone wrong, Korthik said uncertainly. Or was it a diplomatic incident? Kim nodded sadly. A of you remembers exactly why you started killing each other. But you both remember every battle, every ship lost, every friend who died. The hate became more real than the original problem. The star felt ashamed. How many people had died for him? Reason no one could even remember clearly? What do you propose? Korthik asked. Kim leaned back in his chair. Peace. Real peace. Not just a temporary ceasefire, but an actual end to the fighting. Your people and Veltar's people working together instead of destroying each other. Possible, both commanders said at the same time. Kim smiled. 3 hours ago, you thought it was impossible for a single human ship to stop 30 Hegemony destroyers. Sometimes impossible things just need the right voice to make them happen. 1 year later, the Corvani-Hegemony War would be officially over. The peace treaty would be signed aboard a human ship, with Captain Kim as witness. And across the galaxy, people would remember the day when a human voice cut through the noise of war and showed them a better way.